Great.
All of us have really good links on our websites. I know Food and Water Watch does, NRDC, Delaware Riverkeeper Network. Also, OGAP, Earthworks, has really a lot of good studies on there. If you go to any of these organizations that are working, there's a lot of great links to the various studies.
We're going to be releasing a new report on June 13th that summarizes a lot of these studies.
Great, thank you. Okay, so moving right along to this cluster, a lot of you had questions around kind of, is it ever safe? And so I'm just going to ask a few of the specific questions that came up, and then you all can figure out who wants to answer what parts of them. So one of them was that they said there are thousands of fracked wells that don't pollute. How do you reconcile this? In other words, can fracking ever be done safely? Another person asked, I'm often asked if fracking is really more dangerous than, quote, conventional drilling. Can you kind of help that person make the argument better? And another person asked, the environmental organization Environmental Defense Fund is working with gas drilling companies to try to make the process, quote, cleaner. Are they selling out? Should they and other organizations be pushed to support a total ban? So those are some of the questions about on that theme.
Sure. I think the first question was there are thousands that have been done safely, so how do we reconcile that with saying it's dangerous? I mean, there are a couple of answers to that. The first one is, and one of the most serious issues here, and the reason why we're urging caution and why it's so important that the state take the time and do the analyses right, and why it's so critical that EPA have the funding to do the study that it's undertaken correctly, is that there just haven't been the resources put into studying fracking where most of where it's happened across the country. And many claims of contamination haven't been fully investigated. Or there are claims of bias on the part of the investigating regulatory authorities, or in many cases, landowners feel economically compelled to settle with the gas companies, and they frequently sign, almost always in that case, a non-disclosure agreement. So there's a severe dearth of data. Sure, there are going to be wells that are going to be drilled without there being accidents and without there being spills and without there being contamination, migration of contaminants. But what we don't understand is how severe is the risk, how many of them can't be done that way. And that's why it's so important that we slow this process down and develop the science.
I'd like to address just one, I think, really important issue that's been brought to our attention by one of the technical experts that we engaged to develop a report for the natural gas drilling draft regulations that were issued by the DRBC. There's an Achilles heel to this process. They use these extraordinary measures of hydraulic fracturing and horizontal drilling in order to coax the gas out of this deep formation. And in order to do that, they use tremendous pressures. And as a result, you have this drill bore that goes down and then goes sideways. It goes down about a mile. It may go about a mile sideways. But what has happened, if we look around at the most recent reports of problems, a lot of it is the Duke University study, methane being found in water wells near gas drilling sites. A report in the Susquehanna River area that there's methane bubbles in wells that are being drilled by Chesapeake. Reports in Dimock, Pennsylvania, which were verified by forensics done by Pennsylvania DEP, that methane and other chemicals in the wells around Dimock households polluted 9 square miles of aquifer. And why is this happening? Well, our experts said the Achilles heel is that they have not invented the best available technology in order to make this safe. And the reason is because the cement and the various glues that they hold these casings together with are breaking apart under these tremendous pressures that are required in order to hydraulically fracture. And he points out that it may mean that you have a blowout in a well casing in 5 minutes. It may mean that it won't happen for 4 years. It might not happen for the life of a well, which is defined by the regulatory agencies as 20 years and is what the industry designs their cement to last for. But even if it doesn't happen in that period of time, it's going to happen in 50 years or 100 years. So we are with certainty polluting our aquifers by hydraulically fracturing these formations, even if we use green fluids, because of the deep shale contaminants that are being brought up to the surface, the radioactivity and the arsenic, all of the materials, the BTEX, the hydrocarbons, all of those materials that are brought back up are being blown out too into our aquifers. And like I said, it may take 5 minutes, it may take 100 years, but it is inevitable. And that's what he explained to us. And to that means, what that means to me is it's been here 380 million years. Until we can figure out a safe way to get it, and when we really need it, because we don't need it now, let's just keep it there.